Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Healthy Living South Mississippi's Doctors Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition over on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. This is our live Monday morning show, so we invite you to call in 896-0713, 800-349-0713. If you have questions regarding today's topic, or if there's any other health questions that you have, please feel free to call in and ask those questions too. This morning we're talking about fibromyalgia, something that I hear a lot of people all the time that suffer from fibromyalgia. What exactly is it, and what causes it? Okay, well, the cause is kind of a basket of things. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, we see a lot of people. Really, they're going to tell you medically it's called etiology unknown. We don't know because there's a lot of things it could be. For instance, a lot of people have, and it's what it is kind of a vague symptoms of, I mean, they're not vague if you have the pain, but they're vague in that you don't have, for instance, if your hand hurts today, tomorrow it might be your left knee, next, then it might be your neck and shoulder. You might have these little pains, might hurt to touch. It might hurt all over. Now, you might hurt all over. If you look at the word, it's really more of a descriptive. Right. Mm-hmm. Fibro means fibrous tissue. Mm-hmm. My means muscle. And algia means pain. So it's people that have fibrous tissue in the muscles that cause pain. Now, so that's really more of and in my opinion, it is actually more of a symptom. It is. And it's a symptom of many different problems. For instance, a lot of people that develop fibromyalgia, it's what we call post-traumatic. You've had an injury, for instance, a car wreck, minor. Okay, something minor, a little bitty thing, no really major stuff or anything. But yet after that, you develop these kind of weird pains that don't seem to go away. And they just keep getting worse and worse and all that thing. So people that get sick with the flu sometimes or various viruses can have recurring symptoms, like they think they get over it, and then all of a sudden they start developing these pain syndromes, we call them. And it acts like an autoimmune response. They haven't proven that. There's not a test that shows positive with the fibromyalgia, but it's definitely, I think, an immune response as well. And the thing is, a lot of people come in and they say, oh, well, I've been diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia. I said, no, you have lupus, because lupus will make the symptom of fibromyalgia. Right. So that's why I say there's a lot of different problems, whether it be the autoimmune diseases, whether it be the chronic viruses, whether it be chronic EBV, which is the monovirus. I mean, there's so many different things I think that can cause it. And believe me, we have seen thousands of them over the years. Really? So we have dealt with it a lot. Yeah, it's quite common. I mean, it's so common, honestly, that just about every other person that comes in has been told, well, this is fibromyalgia. In other words, if you got a symptom that's kind of vague and the doc really can't put a big diagnosis on it, we'll just say, okay, you got pain here and there, okay, it was fibromyalgia. And that doesn't give you much hope, actually. Right, and they're told that there's nothing you can do about it, which is not true. Right. We actually have people that come in, like I said, daily with fibromyalgia, and we've helped many people over the years, over the last 25, 30 years, actually. Yeah. I mean, so we've dealt with this a lot, and we've never done a show on it, so we said, why not? Even though, like I said, I think it's a combination of a lot of different problems can make the same symptom. And everybody seems to respond differently. To different things. In other words, what's causing your fibromyalgia may not be what's causing her fibromyalgia, or it may not be the thing that actually helps it. Yeah, because we find, that's why we always, with that diagnosis, you have to do a lot of lab work. You got to figure out what's going on, because things that we have linked to, many of them, one would be a low T3, which is a thyroid hormone, but your T4 can look normal, your TSH can look normal. But if the T3 is low, you tend to have those fibromyalgia symptoms. Adrenal problems, both high and low, can make the symptom of fibromyalgia. Vitamin D deficiency. There's actually articles and published articles written that says, is it fibromyalgia or is it a vitamin D deficiency? Right. So vitamin D deficiencies can do it. Right. B12 deficiencies can do it. Yeah. There's so many things. Having that chronic virus can do it. Epstein-Barr is probably one of the biggies. Epstein-Barr can do it. It can make you hurt all over. Just like the flu makes you hurt all over. I always tell people like that. They're like, how can a virus make you hurt all over? Well, when you get the flu, do you hurt all over? Yeah. Okay. Well, those people a lot of times have that much pain all the time. And we're not saying with it that it's not real, because believe me, the people feel real pain. It's just, what is it coming from? And it's different in every body, and you have to treat the person individually.
And there is not a lot of medical treatment that they use for fibromyalgia. And they're told, people get no hope, and they're told, oh, you just got to live with it.
Right.
That's what we hear all the time. Well, I was just told I got to live with it. Well, yeah, you're probably always going to live with the predisposition of having it back, but you can do things to keep it under control.
All right, we've got Deborah from Gulfport on the phone. Good morning, Deborah. What's your question for the doctors?
Yes, I was calling about if you done had back surgery and you're having chronic pain, and then you got symptoms running down your legs. Do they have any suggestions that I can do for that?
Well, if it's post-surgery, you've had a surgery for it?
I done had 3 surgeries, 2 hip surgeries.
All right.
Still having chronic pain.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't know. I mean, you just have to look at your particular case, look at the things, the obvious things, that we just talked about, things like, for instance, your vitamin D status, a lot of other things. And there are some natural compounds, natural medicines, if you will, that are very good at helping with pain.
Right, and it may not 100% get rid of it it's surgically induced, but there's definitely help. We see people all the time. I mean, what we would initially do is look at the lab work, see if there's any underlying causes to make it worse, and then say it's not. Then you got to look at things that help nerve pain, which we have something called inosine that does help, because the pain going down your legs sounds like a nerve pain, a neuropathy. You got to look at your blood sugar status to see, if you have a sugar problem, it's going to make it worse.
No, I don't have sugar.
Okay, good. And then natural anti-inflammatories, things that actually help inflammation, because a lot of times after surgeries you get more inflammation and it just don't go down.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can look at it. You don't know until we deal with you individually, but the best thing to do is probably come by and bring anything that you have, any lab work you've had done.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Deborah, for your call. All right, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Let's take a quick break, and we will be right back with more questions.
And welcome back to the Doctor's Nutrition Show. We're talking about fibromyalgia this morning, and we've talked about this before. If you've got a question, whatever it might be, if it's about fibromyalgia or something else, don't wait till the last segment. Go ahead and call. We have these operators standing by. They'll take your call. If you don't want to be on the air, they'll take your message and pass it on to us. But do call, please.
And you can
don't
always
wait.
call our store, too, if you want to talk to us
sure.
individually. You can actually call, and we'll talk to you. If we're busy, which a lot of times we are, we will call you back. And like we've talked about before, there's no appointments to talk to us. If you come in anytime, there's 3 doctors there, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then on Wednesday and Friday, Dr. Bull's there. So there's always a doctor there to answer your questions.
That's right. So, we're talking about fibromyalgia, and we've had some interesting comments there so far from Deborah in the last segment about, she's prime example. She had post-traumatic origin. In other words, she'd had surgeries, and yet she's still got these chronic pains. And, was it a botched surgery? Kind of doubt it. It was something else. So it's, these are just one of the things. Now, I think we have Brian from Wool Market on the phone now. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Brian, what can we do for you?
I was hurt when I was younger. It fell from a building, believe it or not.
Yeah, okay.
12 stories. And I was lucky that I ever walked away from it. But over the years, I'm 51 years old, and over the years, I've been having a problem with my legs hurting really bad. But the worstest thing that bothers me the worst, I can deal with the rest, but my feet. When I walk, I feel like I'm walking on hot needles and just very painful. My only relief, medication don't seem to help. What really helps is sleep. Going to sleep at night and let my legs relax. But the minute I get up out of bed and I stand on them, they hurt. And it's all day long. It don't go away. And at the end of the day, it's just like, I've got to get my feet up and get them off the ground because, man, they hurt.
I understand. We see things like that a lot, Brian. One of the things Janine mentioned a little bit earlier, there's an amino acid that we use a lot of, and it's called a nerve regeneration factor, actually. It's called inosine. And probably something like that would be something to try. And again, yours is very long standing. you know, whether we can turn it completely around or not, but if we could give you just a little bit.
But I would
of
definitely
relief.
try.
Yes.
I always say it don't hurt to try, and also I would check your B12 status too.
Correct.
We have a lot of people that's come in that suffered with that type of symptom for years and years and years, and we check their B12 and they're B12 deficient. So it's something now that's, you know, I say it's simple, but even replacing the B12, it does take time, because what it does, a lack of B12 ends up starting to have nerve damage. So the nerves and the feet can definitely take a while to help, but there's things that I would definitely try to do it.
Yeah, and like I say, a combination of that and this Ennicin just to try, because honestly, when you got a patient in your position, Brian, you know, the best thing we can offer you is that there's some hope for various things that might help, but it's trial and error.
And you're young. 51 is young.
Yeah, really.
So you got a lot more
Believe it or
years.
not, I work as an automotive mechanic, and I've been in it since I was real young, and I'm one of those, I can't just lay down just because I hurt. I would go crazy.
Yeah, you got to keep
I'm used
going.
to working.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what kind of keeps me moving, but
Well,
it got so bad the last couple of years, it's just undescribable.
well, then you definitely want to come by and let's see what we can do for you, because I would definitely be trying something different. If you've already tried all the medications and you've already done the medical route, you got to do something else.
Yeah.
So that's
Where
what
are y'all located?
we are on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. Do you know where that is?
Remember
Yeah.
where the old Kmart used to be on Pass Road in Gulfport?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right across the street from where
Right
the
across the
garden
street.
center
Yeah.
was. I think there's a new
It's actually a
going
gym
in
there.
there.
There's a new gym,
in
exactly.
there.
There's actually a gym going in there. But yeah, it's right across from that old Kmart. And you come by, and a lot of times we've got samples of things if it's something that's fast acting.
Although, in your case, with it being there that long, a sample's probably not going to do it.
No.
But come by and let's just talk and let's see, you know, and also get some lab work done and see if anything shows up there.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ann from Long Beach on the phone now. Good morning, Ann. What's your question for the doctors?
Yes, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2 and had tried 2 types of medication, metformin, which I was highly allergic to, and glipizide,
Okay.
which craps my stomach.
Okay.
Okay, I know I need to lose about 20 to 25 pounds,
Okay.
but I have not been taking the medicine. I'm to see my doctor next month, early in February, and see what's going on. But no one in my family is diabetic or has been. I don't see that it's. I think if I just probably lost the weight without taking this medicine, which I hear so much about, and that I don't want to take. Is there anything that you all would recommend or think that I should do?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Ann. You know, and you want to watch next week's show. We're going to be talking about genetics and epigenetics. Really interesting because you mentioned family history. So I always, command people that, like yourself, well, okay, you're the first. But you have diabetes, and there are things you can do for it. We have several formulas that we've put together over the years. One is our GSF, which is a glucose support formula. Got a lot of different nutrients in it that are known scientifically, researched to help you with that. And we're going to have to, advise you on certain things you can eat and certain things you probably should avoid.
And we also have a product called Berberine Max. And our
Exactly.
berberine, there's actually research and a double-blind study, which means nobody knows what they're taking. And it is compared to Avandia and metformin. And when compared to those diabetic medications, it works as well for lowering blood sugar as those medications in studies. So, and it does not tend to hurt people's stomachs and doesn't tend to have a lot of the reactions. So that's another thing. So a lot of times in people like you, we do the Berberine Max and the GSF, and definitely diet change. That's the big thing. So come by and we can talk about it and get you started.
All right.
Okay, now, do you all do the blood work there on the premises?
We do.
Yes,
We actually have a nurse that draws it, and so we do it on there. And if you're going to do the lab work, you want to come fasting. Because, of course, if you come that morning and want to do it while you're there, you definitely want to have not eaten before you come. You can have all the water you want, though.
Yeah, you can't have water.
Okay.
You can have all the water you want.
All right.
Okay, okay. And just call and make an appointment?
No, just come on by.
Just come by.
Just come by. Just come
Monday
by and talk to us.
Monday through Thursday, the nurse is
And
there
not
at
eat
8
since
o'clock.
the night before.
Correct.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Ann. All right.
Thank you.
Wanda from Bay St. Louis on the phone now. Good morning, Wanda. What's your question for the doctors?
My question is, I've been having tingling from my head to my toes.
Okay.
Okay.
This has been going on for over 2 months.
Okay.
Okay.
My doctor's been taking blood work. They've been doing all kind of tests. They did a nerve conduction
Right.
test on me.
You would want that. Yeah.
I have no idea what it could be.
Well, the best thing to do on your case, because it's an unusual symptom, is get a copy of everything they've done.
That's
and we'll
exactly.
look at it more nutritionally. And sometimes we'll see something that we would treat where they maybe wouldn't. And so get a copy of everything they've done so far, since they've done a lot of lab work on you.
Okay. And they looked at my medicine I've been taking
Right.
and
Yeah.
everything.
Right. That's what you got to do. But bring it in. Just get somebody different to look at it, and we'll see what you think.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Wanda.
All right, our phone lines are open at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our final segment coming up, as well as this week's special. All right, welcome back to our final segment. Jackie, if you'll hang on for just a moment over there in Ocean Springs, we'll get right to your phone call, but we want to, of course, jump on this week's special first.
Right. This week, something that these are two things that we use a lot for the fibromyalgia type patients. One is 5-HTP, it's 5-hydroxytryptophan. And the 5-HTP helps give us a little bit more serotonin. Sometimes that can help. It's a feel-good chemical.
And it does help with
it
chronic
does help
pain.
with chronic
And
pain.
it helps with chronic pain.
And the ribofuel is just a formulation that we put together to help the muscle survive.
It actually helps the mitochondria.
Well, the mitochondria,
which is
well,
the
that's the muscle.
actual,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, at the cellular level of the
Right.
muscles. And we even have a lot of people do it as a pre-workout when it's not even just used for people with muscle
Right.
pain, it's also used to support the muscles in general.
In general.
Yeah, so
right.
it's really good.
And remember, the heart's muscle.
And the
Yeah,
5-HTP.
biggest muscle in the
yeah,
body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, the 5-HTP cannot be taken with antidepressants.
Right.
So the ribofuel can pretty much be taken with anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Jackie in Ocean Springs, thanks for holding. What's your question for the doctors this morning?
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment.
Okay.
I'm a physical therapist, and I just wanted to thank Dr. Jim and Janine for all the work that you do.
Well, thank
as you
you.
send patients over there. I do want to recommend to you and your listeners the book, The Fibro Manual.
Okay.
It's being used now all over the world, and it's written by Dr. Ginevra Lipton, and it's a complete fibromyalgia treatment guide for you and for the doctors. And I love the fact that you brought up surgeries and so on, because fibromyalgia also comes from traumatic events.
Yep.
Right.
Physical, mental, emotional.
All
It can
the
be
above.
all of it.
All the above.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, of course, the scar tissue. So physical therapy, people who are doing manual treatment like myofascial release, craniosacral therapy. So it's really important to contact the actual fascial system of the body.
Right.
But yes, the great blood work that you do, the vitamin deficiency such as B12 and so on, and vitamin D. I just love the fact that you address all that. But I just wanted to let you all know about the book.
Okay,
It's really
thank
great.
you.
Well,
And
thank you.
also, like one thing we want to talk about is movement.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things that you actually do with physical therapy. But the worst thing somebody with fibromyalgia can do is stop. The people that stop go downhill. And so you even see where exercise is actually beneficial for fibromyalgia. So you want to
Exactly.
keep these people moving. And that's what we always tell them when they come in. You can't stop. If you stop, you're done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we also want to address and be aware of the fact that depression is very high with fibromyalgia.
Oh,
Exactly.
yes.
That's,
As
yeah.
much love and compassion for the patients like you give them is so vital.
We see a lot of people that it comes on after loss of a family member, loss of a husband or wife, actually like after an emotional event.
Yeah.
And so when we say trauma is not just physical.
True.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And-
Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for
All
calling.
right, thank you for the
Appreciate
call,
that, Jackie. It's great to hear
Such
from
great
somebody.
It is.
accolades
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
It is.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
But there is so much. I mean, we've had not a lot of time to talk about the fibromyalgia, but there is so many different facets. And she's right. A lot of people do have depression, which is why we use the 5-HTP. The 5-HTP is great for chronic pain and increase in serotonin. And so that's one of the things we usually do use with fibromyalgia.
And she's right too about being a physical therapist, movement. And like Janine
Yeah,
said,
gotta keep 'em moving.
We watch these people come in sometimes, and they've already turned into the quote couch potato. And once they do that, if you're not careful, it's a slippery slope from there down.
It will worsen the problem.
Yeah, it might hurt, but move.
Yeah.
All right, Donna is on the phone with us. Good morning, Donna. What's your question for the doctors?
Yes, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I am on medication now for it. It's called Lyrica, and it's a controlled substance, which makes me a little nervous. But I have had the exam for fibromyalgia, and also I have had the symptoms for years with no diagnosis. But a couple years ago, I had an accident, a very traumatic accident, and things had gone far worse. And so in the meantime, I was with a doctor that was very concerned, and she finally diagnosed me with fibromyalgia because I hurt everywhere, and it just didn't get better.
Right, that's the kind of thing that we see a lot of. And you had symptoms before, not too bad maybe, but they were there, and then you had that trauma or that accident or whatever, and something said, and it just keeps getting worse. And like you said, it's going to get worse. Now, the thing it is what they're treating you with now, the Lyrica, is not necessarily going to fix anything. It's just going to help you with the
it's for nerve pain.
But there are some other things that you want to do. For instance, in your case, you want to go back and look. It's got to be something that's been there for a long time. And
I had an accident, car accident in the 80s, and things just went downhill from there. And it was a nerve situation.
Right. And like I said, what you're taking does help nerve pain, but we try to get to more of the root of the problem and work more with the deficiencies and try to actually prevent the problem to begin with, not just cover up the pain.
So stop in and see them if you would.
Come by and see us.
Come by and see them. There's no, don't need to make an appointment, and there's no fee for a consultation.
Correct.
All right. Margie from Gulfport on the phone line now. Good morning, Margie. What's your question for the doctors?
Directed more of a comment than a question. I am one of these kind doctors' patients. I still use malic acid. I still use their guidance for high nutrition in a strict, restricted diet. I have cleared out my inner muscle and fascia toxins. I sleep better. Thank you for being my doctors.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the call.
All right, how sweet. 896-0713, 800-349-0713. We may have just a couple of minutes left if you have a question for the doctors this morning talking about fibromyalgia.
I think we've seen a pretty good variety of the calls that we've had.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of different stuff. People that have had things for years and years and years, and people that have something new. And there are some things that can be done about it.
Rebecca, we got Rebecca on the line now. Good morning, Rebecca. What's your question for the doctors?
Good morning. Y'all were talking about moving more with the fibromyalgia. With my fibromyalgia, I can't even say it this morning.
That's okay.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean. Yeah.
The more I move, I have muscle cramps really bad with mine, and the tendons and the ligaments and everywhere. I've got a broken rib from a muscle cramp because of it. So sometimes the more I move, the worse it is on me.
Right, you got to get to the muscle cramp issue. We got to do something about the muscle cramps to where you're not cramping, because you're right, it can actually make you cramp more if you're moving, but you got to get to why you're cramping. So going to the underlying problems would be a better thing for you, but we're running out of time.
Unfortunately.
So we are going to have to go, but you can call us and we can talk more about that. But we do have a lot of stuff for muscle cramps and actually a lot of things you can look at on lab work to see why.
All right, see the numbers on your screen, 897-0070. Give them a call after 10 o'clock this morning. They'll be in there. Next week?
Oh, we're going to be talking about genetics and epigenetics.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, that'll be an interesting
yes.
one.
It's something people don't know a lot about, and so that's why we decided to do a show on it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us now. Get out and have a wonderful day today. We'll see you next week.